All right, let's dive into something that's, well, pretty much everywhere these days.
Oh, I mean, like, literally everywhere. In our pockets, on our desks.
Exactly. We're talking about the iPhone. And more specifically, the iPhone's impact on tech and, let's face it, our lives. We're taking a deep dive today based on some really fascinating excerpts from The Impact of the iPhone on Technology, a revolutionary force.
Catchy title, right?
It is. So, before we go all app crazy, let's rewind. Remember what phones were like before the iPhone?
Oh, I think we all remember.
Seriously, like those tiny buttons struggling to text.
It really makes you appreciate how far we've come. Back then, it was all about feature phones, mostly calls, maybe a few texts, clunky interfaces, not exactly the sleek pocket computers we have now.
Yeah, the struggle's real. I remember spending way too long trying to type out a message with T9. Like, what even was that?
Right. But then, 2007 happened, the iPhone drops, and it was like, boom, everything changed.
Our source material highlights three huge innovations that really flipped the script. That multi-touch interface, the App Store, and then, of course, that high-quality camera.
You know, the multi-touch interface, it was a game changer. Suddenly, we were interacting directly with our devices using gestures, pinch to zoom, swiping.
It felt natural.
Exactly, like an extension of your hand. And it was made possible by these capacitive touchscreens, way more responsive and accurate than the old resistive touchscreens they used to use.
Apple combined that with intuitive software, and boom, you felt like you were literally holding the internet in your hand.
It's amazing how quickly we adapted to it.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, the App Store. I mean, before that, it was like calls, texts, maybe a really pixelated game of Snake, if you were lucky.
Right. And suddenly, this whole universe of possibilities explodes with the App Store. Apps for everything. Games, productivity, connecting with friends, you name it, there's an app for that. And it wasn't just about using apps, it totally changed the game for developers, too.
It's incredible how many industries were born out of the App Store. You've got ride-sharing like Uber and Lyft, social media giants like Instagram.
All these apps and tons more took off because of the platform the iPhone and the App Store provided.
And then, of course, there's that iPhone camera. It's like everyone suddenly became a photographer, capturing everything in high def.
Right. And it wasn't just convenient, it was shockingly good quality for the time. It totally changed how we documented our lives. Even pros started using it.
I bet you could even draw a line from that iPhone camera straight to the rise of all these visual social media platforms we have today.
Without a doubt. We're so used to sharing our lives visually now, and the iPhone's camera was a huge part of that shift.
It really is wild how much the iPhone changed things beyond just
Well,
being a phone.
the ripple effect, as they call it. It's like throwing a stone in a pond. The waves just keep going. Take Android, for example. It came about largely as a response to the iPhone's success.
Competition is a good thing.
Absolutely. It gave consumers more choices and pushed everyone to innovate. We got better phones because of it. Then you have entirely new device categories popping up.
Like tablets.
Exactly. The iPad comes along, building on that whole multi-touch thing the iPhone pioneered. Suddenly you have this bigger canvas for content, for creation.
And then wearables came onto the scene.
Yep, the Apple Watch and others. Taking the smartphone experience and like strapping it to your wrist, it just keeps getting more and more integrated into our lives.
It's crazy how much our relationship with tech has been shaped by the iPhone.
Yeah.
But where do we go from here? Our source material talks about some pretty wild future trends.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get even more interesting. 5G is a big one. Faster speeds, lower latency.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's the delay between, say, you tapping something on your phone and the action actually happening. 5G shrinks that delay down significantly.
So what, even faster downloads?
That too. But low latency is huge for real-time applications. Imagine things like remote surgery becoming common because the connection is so fast and responsive.
Whoa. Okay, that's both awesome and a little bit sci-fi.
Totally. And then there's AI, artificial intelligence. It's already making our phones smarter, but it's going to get even more integrated. Imagine AI assistants that are so in tune with your habits, they basically anticipate your needs before you even ask.
Our phones are already starting to feel like extensions of our brains.
Exactly. And then there's the potential of foldable phones. Imagine a device that goes from pocket size to tablet size instantly.
That's pretty slick.
Right. It could change how we consume media, how we work. It's a whole new frontier.
When you think back to those old clunky phones, it's amazing how far we've come. The iPhone was a total game changer.
It was more than a game changer. It was a paradigm shift. It redefined what a phone could be, and because of that, our whole relationship with technology has been reshaped.
And it's not over yet, right?
Right. As smartphones get more and more woven into our lives, we're going to have to face some big questions. Questions about privacy, about our dependence on these devices. It's something to think about as we move into this hyper-connected future.
It's definitely food for thought. So if this deep dive got you curious, go explore. Check out the history of the App Store, dive deeper into mobile photography. There's a ton out there. The world the iPhone created is vast, never changing. So until next time, stay curious.